gentlemen, welcome to a very special edition of the Knicks Film School Podcast, where in a few moments I will be joined right up here on this stage by the man that was partially responsible for getting that big gold trophy that y'all just saw right back to New York, where it belongs. Say it with me now, Deuce. Oh my goodness, it's so great to be here because just before I bring Deuce up, let me just say, you know, cities all over the country win championships, but what made this team so different, and you feel it here at Fanatics Fest, is that they were so damn likable. Like, has anybody ever seen a more likable basketball team than this one? Who would ever want to break this team up? I have no idea. So we have a couple of trivia questions, Deuce-related trivia questions before we get started. If you know the answer, just raise your hand, I'll call on you, and you shout it out. So we're going to go from easy to hard here. So the first question, what position did Deuce McBride play in high school when he played football? I saw your hand first. He did indeed play quarterback, also wide receiver for Archbishop Moeller, Cincinnati, Ohio. His junior year, 956 yards passing, 17 touchdowns. Pretty impressive. Question number 2. Deuce McBride was a second-round pick in 2021. What draft pick was he? I got you first. I heard 36. Yes, the 36th pick in the draft. Other Knicks to be picked 36. Mitchell Robinson, Mo Cheeks later became a Knick. He was drafted 36. Jerome James, Big Snacks. Big shout out to him. Okay, we're talking about Jerome James. Time to move on. Who was the other, this is question number 3, who was the other 2021 draft pick in the second round by the Knicks? Yes. No, you? No, you? Rokas, yes. Where's Rokas? Is Rokas here? No, he's not here? He didn't make it? Okay, that's fine. Question number 4, we got 2 more. Deuce McBride was taken again with the 36th pick in the second round. One other player who was taken in the second round of that same draft is still with the team that they started their career with. Anybody know who it is? Jeremy, you're precluded from answering. Fine, Andrew. Herb Jones, very good. That's the correct answer. And then last but not least, what does the tattoo say on Deuce McBride's leg? Oh, I know. So, no one reads Fred Katz at The Athletic? This is such a shame. Okay, the Golden Child. And that is because he is indeed the Golden Child. And I knew he was going to be the Golden Child the night he got drafted in the second round, which is why I had the following reaction on draft night. Can we play it, please?
The Deuce Man coming.
No, that's not coffee. All right, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the longest tenured Knick. He has upped his scoring average every year he has been in the NBA. He is one of the top 40 playoff scorers in Knicks postseason history, and he is a 2026 NBA champion. Give it up for Deuce McBride.
How we doing? That's a word.
You tell me. How you feeling?
Man, blessed to be here. Fans have been showing nothing but love this whole run. I mean, it's been incredible.
So you've been a champion for a little bit more than a month now. Has it set in yet?
No, I can't even lie. I'm still thinking about OG's tipping. I'm still thinking about that comeback. I can't even lie. Unreal. I feel like I want to say it will set in when we get our rings. That's going to be unbelievable. Yeah, let's go back to back, right? Yeah. But even then, I mean, you work so hard your whole life, and you know, to finally accomplish something like that, especially in the city of New York, with the fans that we have, I mean, we got the best fans, not just in the NBA, but in all the sports. I mean, it's incredible.
So, as a Knick, obviously, and as a beloved Knick, you were already a cult figure before you won this championship. Have you noticed even another change in how people around the city are reacting to you when they see you?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's funny because I took my hair out of the braids, and I feel like less people notice me. I mean, I've never thought that would happen, but more people recognize me with the braids in now, and I think it's all just because of this championship run and just how much love the city's given me.
Have you had any downtime yet since you won the title?
Not much. I mean, I came back. We flew back from San Antonio that morning, and it was my daughter's birthday. So it was, sleep has not been much, but she turned 1. Literally, we won the championship. She turns 1. I walk in the door, she's right there. So, I mean, you can't get better than that.
As a father of a 9-year-old and a 5-year-old, you'll be out of the weeds in like 3.5 years.
3.5
Give it to like 4.5, and it starts to get a little bit easier. So this summer's obviously been crazy. How has it been for you? Because usually you have a whole off-season process that you kind of go through to get ready for the next season. Has it been harder to kind of adjust to all this craziness, or is this normally time when you'd be just chilling anyway?
I mean, truthfully, my plan was for us to win the championship, so I already knew in my mind that this was going to be a shorter off season. You know, I didn't book any vacations, no summer camps, no appearances until I think the last possible day we could play was like June 19th or something.
June 19th, yeah.
So, I mean, my plan was always to win the championship and then go from there. So, my main thing is just get healthy. Obviously, having a surgery in the middle of the season, playing through the playoffs, I just did whatever I could do to just help the team win.
We're going to talk about that surgery in a little bit. But first, I want to actually go back to the beginning of your Knick career. So part of the reason I had the reaction that people just saw is because we had been hearing your name bandied about as a potential Knicks draft pick before that night. How were you confident you were going to the Knicks before the draft, or when did you know?
Honestly, I was not. I had a wide draft range. I think people were saying I could go as high as 16, as low as, 40, 45. I appreciate it. But, I mean, New York was my first draft workout, and I think it was my worst draft workout.
Really?
Yeah, truthfully.
What was it? Why wasn't it good?
I just didn't know what to expect. I mean, nobody talks about draft workouts really through college. Nobody really, you kind of prepare for it, but you never know what you're going to get. So it was just the first one, I can't say I was nervous, but it was just the first one. You don't know what to expect. And then from there I got better, but, no, I had no clue, 0 clue I was coming to New York, and, I'm glad they took me. So you get to New York coming off of the We Here season, and people's expectations are going up, and that year was kind of a little bit of a tumultuous year. How was that for you, coming into that environment, and was there a veteran on that team that kind of helped shepherd you along as a rookie? Yeah, I mean, getting drafted, I think it was such a special moment, and then my first day in New York, I saw somebody wearing my West Virginia Mountaineer jersey. So I just felt like it was just meant to be. I had a good summer league. And then going into that year, they came off, their first playoff run in, a couple years. And, we had high expectations for sure. And, D-Rose, Kemba, Julius, Evan Fournier. I mean, those vets, Taj Gibson, I mean, they really took me under their wing. Even the, young guys, Quick, RJ, Obi, like they really welcomed me, and they knew I had a lot of talent. They told me to be patient, just keep working and it'll work out. And Daquan Jeffries.
Shout out to Daquan.
Yeah. We used to have some battles in those runs. But no, honestly, like all those vets, they really took care of me. So now you're one of the best 3-point shooters, best shooters, period, in the NBA. It was not
like that for you from the beginning. You struggled with your outside shot, at least percentages-wise, your first couple of years. But you've always had a next shot mentality, which is, you've talked about it a lot, whether it goes in or doesn't, it's about the next shot. Where did you get that mentality from?
Truthfully, my family. I grew up in a sports household. My dad played professional basketball. Mom played college tennis, and a bunch of cousins that were Division I in a bunch of sports. And they always told me that you're gonna have ups, you're gonna have downs, but as long as you keep working, and this is gonna work out. And I felt like as soon as I got more opportunity, I was just gonna start making shots. It's not easy to come in. You're cold. You come in, you get one shot, and then a couple games later, you get one shot, and then it's tough. And once I got used to that mentality of like, you got to come in and make your first one, I think that really helped me.
Speaking of having the mindset of like, all right, I may not be playing a lot tonight, I actually want to fast forward for a sec to your third year, the 23-24 season. Started out a little up and down. You made the OG trade. Shout out OG Anunoby. And then you became a member of the rotation, but it wasn't the most consistent thing. I was looking at your games box score log, where there was a stretch where you played like 40 minutes one night, and then 10 minutes, and then 5 minutes in a game against Houston. Precious Achiuwa played 38 minutes that game. Shout out to Precious. What was that like for you to have that kind of up and down after you had already been in the league for a few years?
I mean, it was difficult. You go through basically my whole life of playing, having a lot of minutes, basically being the star player, and then you come into the league, you're getting no minutes. I played a little bit more my second year. And then my third year, I was playing less in my third year probably than I did in my first 2 years. And it was difficult, but, I trusted in God, talked to my family. I continue to talk to the organization, just continue to ask what can I work on, what can I do to get in the rotation. And they had a lot of belief in me. They knew what I was capable of. And then that trade happens. And, like you said, it wasn't consistent as you wanted to be, but honestly, I would take anything. It was breadcrumbs were good for me. Like, I was just wanting to get out there and show what I was capable of. And I feel like just having that year, getting more comfortable, it really helped.
So you subsisted on breadcrumbs for a while. And then I don't know if you're aware of this, there was a stretch later in that year, 23-24 season, where you played over a 9-game stretch, 402 minutes. Do you know how many other
Thibs.
Do you know how many other players in the last dozen years in the NBA have played more than 400 minutes in a 9-game span?
Yeah, I would say Mikal, Josh, JB, Julius.
So the answer is 0. You are the only NBA player to play over 400 minutes in a 12-game or the 9-game span in the last 12 years. I got one more for you. In the last 20 years, there have been 2 players 6'2" or under, besides yourself, to play over 400 minutes in a 9-game span. Do you want to guess who those 2 players are? Last 20 years. One of them's obvious.
AI.
AI is one of them, and another one is a former Knick who has been going to a lot of your games over the last few years. Good guess, but not Nate.
Yeah, I would have said Nate.
I think someone might have said it.
Yeah, Marbury.
It's Marbury.
Yeah,
That's it. That's the company that you kept in that stretch.
it's crazy.
You mentioned a trade. So that trade happens December 30th. You were not in the rotation at that time. They make the trade for OG. Right around the same time, news comes down that you have signed an extension with the Knicks. Can you just take me through like that 24 hours? How much did you know about the trade before it was going down?
Not much. Not much. It's I think I was in Orlando the first time. I was hearing that, we were talking about extension. We were talking about, them wanting me to stay, but zero clue that there was a trade happening.
So you didn't know your role was about to explode?
No, zero clue. And I'm super happy, to get extended. You want years in this league and you want a chance to be proven. So I had no clue. I just wanted to play. You know, money's great, of course, years. I just wanted to play. So to sign an extension and then be thrown into the rotation, it was Christmas. it was elite. Man.
You hear all the support out here. Do you remember when's the first time you got the Deuce chance on the road?
I can't lie. Maybe Toronto. When
A lot of Knicks fans up in Toronto.
Yeah, Toronto. Maybe I hit like, what was it, like 7, 8 threes?
You've had quite a few of those games, so yeah.
I think that's when I started hearing them. But honestly, like to get that on the road, to have a chant like that, to have fans like this on the road, I mean, y'all travel better than anybody. Like, I mean, y'all took over stadiums for us. Like, we really feed off of that. Y'all really kept us going.
I was gonna say, the way the Deuce chants were when you walked out here, it felt like we were in the Wells Fargo Center for a hot minute there. Was either that season or another season, was there a moment for you where it solidified that, like, okay, I'm gonna be in this league for a long time and I'm good enough to go against the absolute very best?
I always felt like that. You know, once the Knicks drafted me, I felt like they had a lot of belief in me, a lot of confidence. Then coming out of college, I knew I wasn't gonna be a starter right away. I knew I wasn't gonna probably play a lot. But definitely in my third year, I think we went on a couple winning streaks, and then we hit the playoffs. I was playing well. I just felt like, you know, I was finally getting a chance to show what I was capable of, and that's what this league is about. It's an opportunity league, and got to take advantage of it.
So you come down the stretch of the 2024 season. You guys are very banged up. That season, the end of that season, where like Julius is down, OG was down for a while. Eventually, Jalen goes down in the last playoff game. That team resonated with me, and I know a lot of other Knicks fans, because it was just like whatever was required every night. Had you ever been on another team like that?
I would say this year was probably my, you know, the most likable team I've been a part of.
Pretty likable.
Pretty likable. I think this year was pretty likable.
Fast forward to that summer. That was good. McCall trade happens and the Cat trade happens. Which was the bigger shock to you?
Forget about them picks, man.
Oh yeah, sorry, we can't curse up here. Well, they cursed in the theater, so I don't know if you want to curse, you can curse.
But I mean, y'all said it for me. But man, I do miss Dante. I've talked to him a little bit. Those are my guys. Julius, like I said, they really took care of me. But you know, to add OG, to add Cat, to add McCall, like those guys, McCall playing every game, you know, whatever, since high school. OG being a, you know, all NBA defender and what he brings offensively. And, you know, I remember coming into training camp and just seeing what Cat was capable of, like just being able to join a team and, you know, being a star, being number one your whole life, and then to come here and really just connect with JB on a different level. And we had a great run the previous year, and then to win it this year, I think that says so much about Cat and just how much he wants to win. It says so much about McCall, how much he wants to win, so much about OG, how much they want to win. Like it's so impressive.
So let's talk about Cat for a second, because former number one pick in the draft, has obviously a long career, is beloved in Minnesota, and then he gets traded here, which is his hometown, so he's from here, but it's also a completely new environment. And then 1 year into his tenure here, different coach wants different things from him. How, from your vantage point, what was that like for him to have to make that adjustment?
I mean, he was number one for a reason. You know, they pay him for a reason, and you know, he never complained. I think that's such a testimony to how he was raised. Because to be number one your whole life, and then to come and you're asked to do something totally different than kind of what you've been doing. You know, he's kind of playing that 4 role in Minnesota when they had Rudy, and to just accept it. You know what I mean? Just because how much he wanted to win. And you know, McCall, he's over there in Brooklyn. He's number one over there. And OG was coming off. He was starting to get hot with Toronto. And I think for Cat especially, to understand that JB's such a elite scoring guard that he's gonna be ball dominant. You know what I mean? He's gonna take shots. And for Cat to just step in and be so efficient, to understand that when he has to make shots, when he has to take over, I think it's a struggle. And then bringing a new staff, it was a struggle. But he never complained. And I think that's what really just kept us going. Never complaining, always having that mindset of next game's going to be better, next game's going to be better. And it just clicked.
I just thought of this as you're talking about that because, there's the Cat-centric lineups, there's JB-centric lineups. The one thing all these lineups seem to have in common is that when you're on the floor, they get better. So what is your mentality when you come? Because you obviously can be a featured player. You can go get your own bucket when you need to, but you're also arguably the most complimentary player in the league to those stars. What is your approach when you step into the game?
I think the main thing is just I always want to add value. I can't lie. Shout out to Rick Brunson. When that trade happened, he pulled me into his office and he said, "Look, you got a good role. We believe in you. And when you're coming off the bench, just remember, if we're up 10, you want to push the lead. If we're down 10, you want to get that lead back." So it was little things like that, and then understanding that through my whole life, playing with good players. Like, you want to play in the NBA, you're gonna have to play with really talented players, and you got to figure out how to make that back cut, how to set that screen, how to get a stop. If you got to switch on to a bigger guy, playing with tough defense, and all those little things, it was just added up. And I feel like when I go out there, I just want to impact it.
How tough is that? Because you said before, you're a star your whole career, and then you walk into the NBA and you got to figure out a different role. What don't fans understand about how tough that transition is?
Man, it's humbling. It's truthfully humbling. And I think the NBA game is so different because I always say, like, if you know basketball, you should make it to the NBA. And then your next step is learning the NBA game, learning the NBA style. So understanding basketball, understanding how to play with other talented players should, if you're theoretically talented, you should make it to the NBA, understanding basketball. And then playing with that NBA style, that takes a little bit of time. And I don't think fans understand how different it is from that college to NBA. Like, I don't know if you guys been watching Summer League, but that jump from college, I appreciate you, but that jump from college to the NBA is extremely difficult.
So I remember seeing you at Summer League back in the day. I don't know, I felt like you hit the ground running, but like, how much, what you're talking about, the adjustment to the NBA game, how much does just that have to do with, I got to buy into what my team needs me to do? Huge.
I mean, I think if more guys bought in and understood their role, the NBA would look a lot different. I feel like guys, that's why I say I give so much credit to Cat. I mean, you're number one your whole life, and you come here and you not necessarily take a back seat, but you understand that you're playing with a very talented player. And for a lot of guys not even drafted number one, maybe drafted in the second round, they can't comprehend that mindset because they've been the best on their team, All-American in college, whatever you want to say. But I mean, to have that mindset of just, I want to win. And I think a lot of guys care about winning, but not in the same sense of, and I think it's the NBA's fault because we reward guys that necessarily don't win. We reward guys that lose, in a sense. Sometimes we pay guys that lose, truthfully. I wasn't
going to say anything, but
I mean, no, I think the NBA has got to do a better job of rewarding winning, guys that impact the game.
Is there ever a conflict for you when you're kind of going through your whole process of like, because everybody who watches the game, whether you're an analytics person or not, they know that you are just additive. You're just positive when you step on the floor, but that doesn't always result in numbers for you. So how do you reconcile that as you go along your career?
Get in the ring. I mean, people can say anything about numbers. You can say anything about this stat, that stat, but at the end of the day, people are going to always remember me as a 2026 NBA champion. So, I mean, hearing this, I mean, that always keeps me going. I'm telling y'all, like, the fans, y'all really keep us going, like, truthfully. Like, I mean, we work hard for ourselves, for sure, for our families, but to have y'all support, to have y'all behind us, I mean, it's incredible.
So we should probably mention the gentleman who helped guide you to this championship, Mike Brown.
Mike.
Long NBA career. I wonder how the Kings doing lately.
Back to Cincinnati.
Do you remember the first conversation you had with Mike?
I do. He called me, just wanted to introduce. He didn't really want to talk basketball, just wanted to talk about, what are you doing for the summer? I'm excited to be here, excited to learn about you, excited to get to know you. And, it was a casual conversation, but I feel like that's such an important step because, especially living in New York, it's busy. We're nonstop sometimes. Guys don't live, as close together. So for him just to reach out, after he got right after he got the job, to reach out to all of us, I think it was so important.
And season started off pretty well. Then you guys had a little bit of a rust patch, 2-9. You came out the next game after the MLK game and beat Brooklyn by, I think it was, you may have just scored recently. 54 was the last tally I saw. And then 2 days later, you got hurt. And it was sports hernia. You had to have surgery. At the time, I looked this up, among players who had made 100 or more threes, you were 6th in the NBA, 42% from downtown. How hard was it for that to happen at that time where you were just hitting your stride and you were coming out of that stretch?
Yeah, extremely difficult. I felt like I was having a great year. Every year I've just gotten better and better. And I think it's, again, trusting God, trusting my preparation. I take my summers extremely serious, getting better, and to have a season that I was having and to get hurt, the surgery I had, it was a tough surgery.
Did you think your season was over at any point?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I had 4 or 5 different opinions about the surgery, whether to do it, when to do it. It was difficult because I was playing through it for a couple games, and it was just increasingly getting worse. But from all their opinions, they were like, get the surgery, and you'll be able to come back. Then come back the way I wanted. I was still extremely in pain.
Were you ever fully healthy the rest of the season?
No, not at all. Oh man, I was just fighting, doing whatever I could. I mean, the funny thing about Philly, it was probably the worst I felt in Game 4. Like, I was in a lot of pain. Yeah, it was all worth it, and that was my mindset because I knew we had a special chance. I knew we had a chance to do something special, and I just wanted to do whatever I could to help.
So you brought up Game 4 Philly. I got to do one more trivia question here. So you scored 25 points on 10 shots that day. There's been one other player who's scored at least 25 points on 10 or fewer shots in the playoffs the last 3 years. I'll give you a hint. He's still a free agent. Someone said it over here. LeBron.
Yeah.
Just you and him. Only 2 players have done that.
Ohio kids, man.
Last 3 years.
Something about Ohio.
How you think LeBron would fare in New York?
I think he would love it. But I like our team. I like what we've done, obviously, this past year, and I think we have a great chance to run it back.
So, speaking of that championship and repeating, this is Knicks Film School Podcast, so I got to ask you a couple of questions. In Game 1, you checked in the middle of the third quarter. You guys were down 11. By the time you exited the game in the middle of the fourth quarter, you were up by 3. In that stretch, you had 4 assists, and I want to actually ask you about 2 of them. So, do you remember the play where you were inbounding and it was on the go-ahead bucket to Landry? What do you remember about that play? Because I rewatched it. I want to see if we're on the same mindset.
I mean, Chris Gent, our assistant coach, he'd been drilling, and I've always been a big time believer in just stealing buckets whenever you can, especially on out of bounds plays. And Chris Gent, he was drilling into us that we can really steal a lot of buckets, especially this series, just from them being undisciplined on those out of bounds. And
future head coach Chris Gent in this league.
Absolutely. I mean, a lot of guys on our staff did great, and Landry knows the game so well. He uses his body so well, and the eye contact, understanding that he was going to get open, it was easy.
So Devin Vassell, it looked like if he had a longer fingernail, he might have gotten it.
He might have got it, but being a quarterback, I just put it in the right spot.
Perfect spot. And then the last assist you had during that stretch, you drove, and OG wasn't in the corner yet when you started your drive. When you're starting that drive, do you know OG's going to relocate to the corner at that point?
Yeah, that was one of our main things, is just reading the drives. Mike, again, our coaches just did such a great job preparing us all season for moments like that. I mean, I feel like you could throw in anybody at the time. You could have thrown in Tyler. You could have thrown in Jeremy, Mo. You could have thrown in anybody, and we all would have known OG's getting to the corner.
How hard in the finals was it for you guys to get used to the Wemby kind of almost like a free safety on defense?
Yeah, I mean, freak of nature. He's going to be, a hell of a player going forward. So, I mean, he definitely had a few blocks in that series that you're just like, you know what, just tip your hat to him and go back the other way. But for us to get used to it, we just wanted to kind of put him on the perimeter, get him out of his, comfort zone, and really attack him from there.
One more play from game one. You hit a shot, a three, at the end of the third quarter that you banked in off the glass, and then you gave a little shrug, which I've only seen one other player in NBA Finals history give a shrug after a three back in the day. What were you thinking at that moment?
Man, like I said, just going through the playoffs, it was probably the most difficult playoffs I've been through. I played through, this was my second playoffs. I had surgery after that third year. I think after that third year, we had 7 surgeries on the team. JB, me, Julius, OG. It was a crazy offseason. And then just going through this playoffs, being as hurt as I was just like, man, just buy me any bucket. Just like I said, if I can get an assist out there, if I can get one defensive stop, I'll just do whatever I can do just to win a championship. And it paid off.
And win a championship you did. What's the first interaction you remember having after the clock hit all zeros in Game 5?
Man, truthfully, just thinking about how God has just brought me so far, from the long nights in the gym, the early mornings in the backyard, growing up with the older brother, him pushing me, toughing me up, pushing me on the ground, telling me to get up. My dad putting us through drills, all my coaches, going throughout little league and then high school, and then Coach Huggins, just 3-hour practices, all of those things just flooded my mind just thinking about that once the buzzer hit zero.
Yeah, I met your dad at Summer League. You told me about some film sessions at home may have been harder than Tom Thibodeau's film sessions. Is that accurate?
Very difficult film sessions. Sometimes we didn't even have to watch film. It was straight on the car ride home with my dad. But that's what you get. With being a pro. I remember my earliest memories are him getting up and getting his workout in before he's taking us to school and things like that. And then my brother and I just growing up, we're seeing him do that, and then it just. That's what we want to do. He said, if you want to be the best, if you want to play in the NBA, that's what you got to do. You got to work out before anybody's working out. You got to work out harder, more disciplined, all of that. And, that's why I'm here.
He said he didn't sleep before he got on the plane ride to get out of San Antonio. When's the first time you slept after you won?
Yeah, definitely a couple of days. Like I said, I got home. I think it was 8 a.m. we get home from San Antonio, and I open the door and my daughter's right there. I'll just never forget that moment. Parenting's hard. Full year of parenting was hardest thing I've ever had to do. It's the best thing I've ever done. But, just, man, celebrating nonstop.
So it seems like you like being a member of the Knicks. Is that fair to say?
I love it. Love it.
So I don't know if you know this. You may not know this. I may be breaking news. You're actually eligible to sign an extension to remain in New York for even longer. You are currently the longest tenured Knick.
Man, crazy. Crazy.
How much would it mean to you to be a Knick for the foreseeable future and continue to represent this city and this fan base?
Man, I would love it. When I came to New York, I didn't know anything about New York. I knew it was fast paced. I came here on an AAU trip when I was like 16 and I couldn't stand the city. I stayed in Chinatown. We played at Basketball City and I couldn't stand it. And then I came up here, like I said, I see somebody wearing my jersey from West Virginia. And man, to sign that first contract extension, I loved it. And I just feel like, I want to be here. I felt like I've earned it. I've put in a lot of work, not just this year. The whole organization knew what I was dealing with this playoffs, just playing, through injury, through a difficult injury. Everything you do is, through your core, through your groins, through your hips. And, I want to stay here and, hopefully we come to some type of agreement.
You guys want Deuce to hang around for a while? Seems like a good investment. I don't know. Before we get out of here, we're going to do some rapid fire, if that's okay with you. Okay. So give me one teammate. It could be a current teammate or a former teammate that you want in the foxhole with you.
Ooh. I got to go with... Can't lie, I'm going to go with Josh. Heart of the city, man. I'm going to go with...
For comedic purposes or because he's like...
I think both. I think he understands when to be serious and when to joke, and I think that's the special thing about Josh. And y'all see it. Y'all see the passion on the court, but you also see the comical side of him.
Who is the best shooter on the New York Knicks currently?
Miles Deuce McBride.
That's what I'm talking about. Who is the toughest cover in the NBA for you?
Oh, man. Probably Steph. I think Steph, yeah. Dealing with the screens, the nonstop moving, and obviously him being as talented as he is. I gotta say Steph.
Who is the player in the NBA who has been the toughest cover on you?
Oh, it's a good one. Man.
Just someone you don't want to deal with when you see them on the box score that night.
I don't really have. I've never gone into a game worried about a matchup like that. But I feel like Davion Mitchell, just been playing against him for so long. When he was at Baylor, I was at West Virginia. So I feel like me and him just always go at it. But it's healthy competition.
It's good. Off night. Who is the most detail-oriented coach you have had?
Tom Thibodeau. Can't even lie. All my dad, all the coaches, but Thibs, he was locked in, to say the least. He did not leave that office.
You might have already said this with the previous answer, but who is the funniest teammate you have? It could be a former teammate too.
Yeah, I can't lie. Man, Mitch was. I know y'all. If y'all follow him on any social medias, I feel like y'all understand Mitch, and that's who he is on social media, off social media, on the court, off the court. It's Mitch.
So he's really out there chasing snakes and doing whatever else he's doing?
Yes, absolutely. He is. Yeah, Mitch is by far the funniest guy.
Quick sidetrack. How weird is it going to be to see him for the first time in the Celtics uniform?
Yeah. Oh, man. It's going to be disappointing. I'm happy for him. I'm happy for, his family. And, he worked so hard to earn what he's gotten. But to see him on that other side, No friends out there.
I respect it. Who is the teammate of yours? And you could say yourself for this answer, although that might be because you have a young child. Who is the teammate that has slept the least since the title?
That's a good one. It could be JC for sure. Dang, that's a really good question.
Not Jose, because Jose said some things.
Yeah, see, Jose's from New York, so I feel like it's got to be him. Just being a New York, like I couldn't even imagine winning a championship in my hometown, and let alone it be the greatest city on the earth. Like to win it here, to be from here, yeah, I think it got to be Jose.
Who is the first former teammate to congratulate you after you won the title?
That's a good question. Who was it? Maybe Dante? I think.
Shout out to Dante.
Yeah, I think it was Dante or Evan Fournier. One of the two. Yeah.
Couple more. Can you give me your New York Knicks Mount Rushmore? So 4 names. I think you got a fan over here.
There we go. Yeah, I like that one. I got you. Bernard King, Pat, I like Clyde for sure, and
one more.
Mello.
All right. Shout out to Mello. If you could have dinner with any person, who would it be? Dream dinner guest.
Daisy, I mean, Jesus Christ himself would be my dream dinner.
Good one. And then last one, if you could play pickup with any player in NBA history in their prime, who would it be?
Dwayne Wade.
Shout out to Dwayne Wade. Deuce McBride, you are an NBA champion. You are. I've been a Knick fan for 34 years. I don't know that there are 5 more beloved Knicks that I have ever come across than you, my friend. And that is a testament to everything you are about. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Deuce McBride.